He's had injuries. People, which my biggest pet peeve, by the way, not just Lions fans. I think Detroit, I don't know, it's probably all fans, but I'm a Detroit fan, so I see it within Detroit fan bases the most. They're so ready to quit on a guy. I remember they did it with Hawk, too, after the first year. It was like, Hawk stinks. I'm sitting there, bro, watch the game. They don't throw him the ball. And then what did he do in year 2? He's one of the best in the NFL.
I'll just say this. I do agree with you. Detroit Lions fans give up on players way too much, and they give up on them for two main reasons, either because they have injury concerns or they don't blossom right away. Like we saw it with Jared Goff last year. When he was playing poorly, everybody wanted to throw him to the fire. But then when he came back, it was a completely different story. With Jeff Okudah and TJ Hockenson, it's because of the injuries. Now, I will say this. The slight little caveat role for TJ Hockenson is because we'd already been down that road before with tight ends, a.k.a. Brandon Pettigrew. And we were like, oh, dear, we don't want to go down that road again. But TJ Hockenson has actually performed up to being a top-billing tight end. Because last year, when he was the only prominent wide receiver Jared Goff had to throw to, he still almost had 600 yards, which was for second best on the team. So I won't necessarily say TJ Hockenson does not have talent. He definitely has talent. The problem is that he's dealt with a little bit of injury bugs over the last couple of years.
Fair enough.
But I think he'll be fine. Jeff Okudah, the same thing. I think with Jeff Okudah.
Go ahead.
With Jeff Okudah, I think the main problem is that most fans, they saw that we drafted him at number 3 overall, and they're like, dude, there hasn't been a cornerback drafted that high in ages. And they're like, dude, if he's going to be drafted that high, we want to see immediate return on investment. And dude, that's not the way it works in the NFL. There's never such a thing as you get immediate return on investment, especially at cornerback.
Yeah, I understand that.
Again, Lions fans, patience.
I understand that. You take someone 3rd overall, you want him to play and be impactful instantly, which I get. But at the same time, not everybody's going to be impactful right away. That's just like how sports work. It's just a fact. So the idea that I almost would get the feeling by like week 3 when Jeff Okudah hasn't had a 3-interception game yet, people are sitting there like rooting against him almost, like wanting Jeff Okudah to fail. And Hockenson, you forgot Detroit's prodigal son, Eric Ebron, also scarred us for a highly picked tight end. But Hockenson too, it's like he's a different guy. What, just because Eric Ebron stunk, which I hate him just as much as anybody, you're going to sit here and go 2 weeks in, Hockenson is the worst. Hawkinson's no good. Like, it's a 21-year-old guy. Give me a break, man. It, like, makes me resentful of other Lions fans. So I think that's why I've dug so hard in with Okudah. I want him to be the guy. I want him to find his, I don't know, his strut back. I love the nickname. Yeah, the free Hefe. I'm so in on that. The pepper emojis. I love all of that. Besides him, I like Jerry Jacobs. I think his story is really cool, and he was a beast last year. Brutal injury for him as well. And Iffy, too. Iffy had the injury, but big guy. I feel like he was talked about coming out of college. So those would be my next 2, but I really hope Okudah comes into his own.
I'm with you. I want Jeff Okudah to succeed. I really do, because this is a guy that's been through multiple injuries, and he's come back, he's bounced back, and I'm hoping that he can finally stay on the field healthy, and he can, in essence, shut up the naysayers, that he can make them go quiet. That I love rooting for the underdog. That's why I like Jared Goff, because a lot of people have been calling for his head for a while. And dude, I'm telling you, just keep adding fuel to that fire. You keep adding it to Jeff Okudah, Jared Goff, all these people that just want to dog on these players. It's just keep adding fuel, baby. It's just going to make it that much sweeter when they finally say, I told you so.
I hope so.
And, I mean, yeah, same thing for me. In honesty, I think that the way the roster is going to break down, at least for the depth chart for the cornerback room, obviously you have Oruwariye. He's going to be number 1. I think just purely because from an experience standpoint, Jeff Okudah will probably be number 2 so long as he's healthy. The fact that he's already been participating in OTAs and minicamp already has him in a much better position to do so. And then I think, again, depending upon health, you're probably then going to next have either Ife Melifonwu or Jerry Jacobs. And that's why I say depending upon health, because Jacobs has not yet fully come back from his ACL tear. However, though, he is starting to run. He is starting to get more mobility drills going. But the question is whether or not he's going to be fully ready for training camp or not. That's the big question. Same thing for other guys like Mitchell, the tight end, and also for Jameson Williams, the wide receiver. We just don't know where they're at in their recovery process.
Yeah, that's fine, though. I want to see Iffy. I was excited for him last year, and then he got hurt super early, which was a bummer. But I'm excited. He's a big dude to be playing corner. So I'm excited to see what he's got. I feel like maybe in a way getting hurt last year could have been a little bit of a blessing where it's, hey, man, relax, just learn how to play pro football, learn how the NFL works. I think that's a big part too. We talked, like we were saying, everybody wants instant returns from rookies. Like, you are leveling up so extremely going from college to the pros. It's when like Kyle Pitts last year, when rookies come out and do play extremely well, like that is nuts to think about. Those guys were in college the year before. It's crazy.
That's just because it's so rare. You don't see a lot of guys that in their very first year outside the gates, they're doing stuff that you would expect out of a seasoned veteran. The fact that Kyle Pitts, a tight end of all things, got 1,000 yards receiving in his first year.
Bananas.
That's impressive because most tight ends don't get over 1,000 yards. Most of them only get around 500 to 700 yards. So he's getting wide receiver level production as a tight end and as a rookie. Again, so when you see stuff like that, yes, great. Woo! It's nice to have that kind of return on investment. But that is an outlier. That is not the standard. So don't expect that for every rookie that ever gets drafted.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
It's an extreme outlier. Like, one out of the top 10 rookies having a season like that's very impressive.
Oh, and I agree. And some people don't talk about this with Penei Sewell, but Penei Sewell, in my opinion, had one of those years. He just gets forgotten about because he's a lineman. Nobody really thinks about linemen. But when you're going up against guys like Aaron Donald, Joey Bosa, and you're holding your own as a 20-year-old rookie, not a 21-year-old rookie, a 20-year-old rookie, that's very impressive. So I get it. People want to see return on investment from guys like Jeff Okudah, who's only played 11 games. But listen, people, have some patience. Slow your roll. Have some patience. Let's wait and give Jeff Okudah another year here because it does no good just tossing him into the trash heap. Because, again, you're never going to know how far you came until you actually go the distance. Because you could be right there on the cusp of getting that gold, getting that diamond, and you gave up. And it's like, no. You've got to see this all the way through,
100%.
folks.
I hate the trash heap people. And like I said earlier, it feels like they root against them, too. It drives me insane.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way.